not Patriots fans anymore, Skip. They're Tom Brady fans. Because when I said it was all about Brady, they're like, no, I've been a Patriot fan since '68. I've been a Patriot fan, Steve Grogan and Matt Cavanaugh, yada, yada, yada. Now all of a sudden, I see all those fans that I used to see with Patriots jersey on, they got 12 Buccaneer jerseys on. So I do believe the fans, of course, it's not going to be the same for them because every year when he was with the Patriots, they were a Super Bowl favorite. Now, that's not going to be the case. So the question was, do the Patriots miss him? Coach Belichick doesn't, but I believe the fans and some of those guys in that locker room, they absolutely miss him because they're not used to having this many losses. Forget it this soon in a season. They've got more losses right now, Skip, than they probably had in any season win in the last 4 or 5 years because this is not what they're used to.
That is correct. Just me, but I believe that in even Coach Belichick's heart of hearts, he is seriously regretting pushing Tom Brady out the back door in New England because I think he now sees the handwriting on the wall for the rest of this season for the New England Patriots. I see 2 games they should win against the woeful Jets. Other than those 2 games, I'm not sure they'll win another one. Surely just because he's Bill Belichick, he can win one other game. But they're now 2-4. And if they only win, let's say, 3 more games, that gets them to 5. That's going to be a humiliating season for Coach Belichick.
Yes.
Yesterday, of course, as we just heard, was the worst home loss in the Belichick era. And after a sensational start for Cam Newton, I don't know exactly what's happened. We're going to talk to Michael Vick about this in a few minutes. Cam has lost his way.
He doesn't look the same since COVID diagnosis.
That's correct, but he's gone 5 straight games in which his stats have fallen precipitously, and now actually because they had to watch, the Patriot fans had to watch Jimmy G shred them. It was actually the run game that shredded them because they got run off the field by 2 backup running backs.
Back up to the backup.
Back up to the backup. They had the backup for a while, then Jeff Wilson got hurt, and then we got the backup to the backup, and he was running wild on what's left of now the Patriots and Bill Belichick's defense. Meanwhile, out in Las Vegas, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Tom Brady has officially entered the MVP race in the National Football League. It was one of those days and a night in which Russell Wilson threw 3 interceptions. We're going to talk about that in a few.
2 horrible.
Yeah, 2 of them were just horrible. So he took a step back and lost to Kyler Murray, who probably took a step forward, and maybe he's about to enter in the MVP race. Your man, my homeboy, went to Denver yesterday and played just average football, had a QBR of 53, and they went 0 for 8 on 3rd down, did the Kansas City Chiefs with all those weapons. And your man, Aaron Rodgers, we know just a week ago at Tampa Bay, which I call Tampa Bay now, stunk it up with 2 near pick sixes and almost 4 interceptions and got blown off the field 38-10. He redeemed himself a little bit yesterday at Houston. We're also going to talk about that in a few minutes. But right now, I just want to talk about the masterpiece that Brady put on yesterday and has continued to put on since he finally started to figure out the new Bruce Arians system. Obviously, with no preseason games and mostly virtual preseason, it took him 2 or 3 games to start to get the hang of a whole new terminology and system. And both of his Pro Bowl receivers, obviously Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, have been hurt on and off through the first 3 to 4 games. Mike Evans still looks a little bit hurt. He's gimpy on a bad ankle, but certainly in the debacle that they had at Chicago, as Bruce Arians said yesterday, I had him out there on one leg, and I did not have Chris Godwin, which is why we decided to plunge and take a risk on Antonio Brown, another topic we're going to discuss in just a few minutes. But
so now, COVID policy, huh?
Yes, there you go. Tom Brady, over his last 5 games, is now 15 touchdowns to 1 interception. Is that good? That's pretty great. And yesterday, all he did was throw 4 touchdown passes, again, to 4 different receivers. And he also had a quarterback sneak touchdown. So that's the first time in his career he's thrown 4 touchdown passes with a rushing touchdown. And the quarterback sneak, again, qualifies Tom Brady as the greatest quarterback sneaker I have ever seen. And it's not even close because he just doesn't miss with the quarterback sneak. And you would think of a guy who's kind of soft and not very mobile, but help me out. Have you ever seen somebody who can pick a hole better and burrow better with more guts and courage than Brady does?
He's unbelievable.
He is unbelievable. That's his best play, actually, is the quarterback sneak. It is automatic.
Because, Skip, I think what you don't realize, because 1 minute he'll go over the top, and then the next minute he'll burrow to the left, burrow to the right. So it's really hard to get a key on what actually he's going to do.
And yesterday, his fourth touchdown pass put him one ahead of Drew Brees. They're going to seesaw back and forth all year for the all-time touchdown pass lead.
Right.
So once again, there are no turnovers. And once again, he's 7 of 12 on third down, 5 of 6 in the red zone. They are starting to cook. They're getting a little healthier at receiver. And yet, the defense is rising and shining, too, because Devin White is starting to make a case for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he's in
everywhere.
He and Myles Garrett, for me, if I had a vote,
Myles Garrett probably has a leg up. But I'm just saying, every time I turn on my TV, he just jumps off my screen.
Both of them. Levante David, you can't run the screen on him because he's chasing everything down.
Yep. So Devin White had 11 tackles and 3 sacks yesterday, and Levante David had 8 tackles and was second on the list. That's hard. It's hard to beat, man. When Brady is that hot and starting to click with, oh, remember that guy Gronkowski?
Right.
Because I thought that early throw, remember, they fell down 7-0 to Derek Carr. And I'm going to remind everybody that the Raiders were coming off a bye week, and the previous game was at Kansas City, and they outgunned my homeboy 40-32. So they were flying high. So this was pretty high degree of difficulty at Las Vegas. I realize there are no fans in the stands, and that probably hurt the home team. But the point was, the visitors fall behind 7-0, and then Brady takes them on a 77-yard, 10-play drive to tie the score. And the key play is 3rd and 5 at the Las Vegas 44. And if we could see the throw to Gronkowski, this was early, and this is to Gronkowski for 26 yards. That's a rifle shot. Okay, that looked like good old days, and he had to come back in, obviously, and recover his own fumble, which was smart. And they go down and score on the quarterback sneak that we just talked about. And then he comes right back there down. Finally, at the end of the half, to your point.
But I don't get it.
Thank you. I've been trying to tell you that for the last, what are we up to, 7 weeks?
But here's the thing. I heard none of that after week 1. I didn't hear anybody come out there and says, I take umbrage to Tom Brady's ability to spin the ball. I heard no one say it. After week 1 in New Orleans, I heard no one say that on our network or any one other network. Nobody said what they're saying now. So it's easy to say after 5 touchdown days, Skip, it's easy to say that. Now, Tom has been unbelievable. I believe, Skip, they have allowed him to incorporate, because this is not BA offense. If you look at Gronk with those over routes, if you look at Scotty Miller with the over route, that's not really what they do. They are a vertical team. But you're seeing, and they didn't run the ball particularly well yesterday, but they ran it well enough that when he faked the ball in Roe Jones or Fournette's belly, those linebackers had to come up, and then you had Miller on the over behind him. You had Gronk on the over behind him. So if you can't get pressure on Skip, if you look at the throw that he threw, you see how clean that pocket was? If you can't pressure these, Skip, they're too good now. The guys are too good. He's too good. He's already historically great. Even at the age of 43, if you do not pressure him like he got pressured against New Orleans, like he got pressured against Chicago, and you let him just have a clean pocket, he'll pick you apart. And most of them will.
By the way, we just showed it, but did you see the rollout to Godwin for the touchdown? Now, that's 43 years old.
They didn't know you could do it. Because you're not anticipating. We know he can throw the ball from the pocket clean. But he moved. They put him on a move.
Yeah.
Like,
and you know what? I'm not saying, he's glacially slow.
Yeah.
We get that. But I thought he looked fairly athletic and throwing on the run and threw a dart.
That was that, and the throw to Scotty Miller at the end of the half. Those were his 2 best impressive throws, because we're not used to seeing him throw the ball on the move and throw the ball with that type of velocity. That ball has something on it, Skip.
Okay, so to our man Stink, as we call Schlereth, to his point, Are you ready to say you were wrong about loss of arm talent? I don't see, I told you, no loss of velocity. I see the same Brady I've always seen.
Well, Skip, I think the thing for me is that it's hard. Well, if I'm just critiquing him like off of yesterday's game when everything is clean, well, see, you understand that if you look at Rodgers yesterday and then look at Rodgers the week before when they had pressure on him and then look at him yesterday. It's a totally different ball game. These guys have gotten too good now if you don't pressure
but my
them.
point about Brady is that's always been Brady. When the Ravens could get pressure on him in AFC Championship games, even at New England, he had a hard time because they all have a hard time with that kind of pressure. When Denver could get heat on him at Denver in the AFC Championship game, he had a long, hard game.
Well, Skip, I think a couple of those throws you and I could make. If there's no one going to be within 5 feet of the guy, I mean, that throw to Scotty Miller, Skip. I'm like, did anybody?
No, I'll tell you this. I couldn't have made that one.
No, we couldn't have made that. We'd have felt very comfortable knowing that we're not going to get hit. We probably could have dropped it in the bucket like he could. But look at this, Skip. Look at this protection.
He had to step up through it.
But it's like they rushed 3 and dropped 8. These great quarterbacks, Skip. They're not going to settle for the field goal because the field goal isn't automatic. Guys miss too many field goals. It used to be, Skip, back in the day, 30-yard field goals were gimmies. There are no more gimmies now.
So guess what? Through, what are they up to now? 7 games.
The 7 games.
The Tampa Bay used to be the Succaneers, have a grand total of 7 turnovers. Through 7 games last year, they had 17 turnovers with Jameis at the controls.
Right.
And I remain a Jameis fan, big arm. He's a classic no risk it, no biscuit thrower.
Right.
He's going to try. He's going to throw home runs.
Right.
Sometimes he will. Sometimes he'll throw it to you. But think of that. 7 turnovers through 7 games, 17 last year. They were a -5 in turnovers at this point last year. They're a +5 now. Help me out. What's the difference?
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be the difference in
wins and losses.
5 and 2,
yes,
right?
Because, and like you said, I mean, if you can be plus in the turnover margin, Skip, and the way the defense is playing now, I believe you can get, you got opportunities on the back end because I don't think they're that great, but are you going to have time? That's the question, because they can generate a rush with 4. Sue and Shaq Barrett and JPP. Now they got McClendon, and they blitz the linebacker more, the middle backer, White, more than anybody that I know.
Yep.
And so now they're starting to get home. So you got some plays. You can make some plays. And then Aguilar started off the ground. I was like, man, if you were playing like this, you would still be in Philly. And then he resorted back to being Aguilar, dropped 2 passes.